Hello, sir.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. Welcome to TDN Africa Media.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. We'd love to know your name and your designation.
My name is Abdul Foday. I'm the Director for Corporate and Industry Affairs at the National Communications Authority, NATCOM.
Okay. All right, sir. Going forward with our interview for today, sir, we are made aware that the West Africa Telecommunication Regulatory Assembly will be revising its constitution. We'd love to have a brief background.
Thank you very much. Apparently, West African Telecommunications Regulators Assembly, called WATRA, is a platform which brings together regulators in the sub-region to see how they will speak to the issues relating to connectivity relating for business, connectivity for education, connectivity for digital economy, and connectivity generally in the sub-region. What they have come here to do is to see how they could revise the constitution to speak to current and emerging trends and technologies in the digital age. WATRA is an offshoot of ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States. It was established in 2002. So since 2002, WATRA has been working on and with the constitution that was enacted then. But since, as it is now, you agree with me, there have been several innovations which are recorded. There have been several transformations in the digital age. There have been several improvements and advancements in technology. Say, for example, in 2002, 3G was not available, 4G was not available, the cyber security was not available, internet, say for example, the ACE cable that we have in Sierra Leone, Africa Coast to Europe, internet cable was not landed here. So all of those things were not captured in the 2002 constitution of WATRA. So over time, 2002 today is about more than 2 decades, 21 years or thereabout. So it fits purpose that the constitution should be revised. And they have had several meetings, one in Abuja, there was another in Conakry, Guinea, and several other engagements speaking to revising that constitution. As we speak, the countries in the West African sub-region have come here to Sierra Leone to see how they will now validate the revised constitution so that it will be legally acceptable to all and sundry across the West African sub-region.
So we'd love to ask, this new constitution, what does it entail?
Well, apparently, the new constitution, like the old one, entails the idea of increasing broadband penetration. Broadband simply means high-speed internet. Recall that now internet and digital age is now the vogue. Data is what is ruling the world now. Even with respect to voice services, you realize now the data is being more consumed. So people are yearning to have the internet. Internet more so with broadband. That means fiber cables are being rolled now. There are not being much metro rings being laid around metropolitan areas, cities and towns. That is the idea, that's the drive where WATRA wants to take the constitution too. It's in tandem with Smart Africa too, because Smart Africa is looking at connecting smart cities. That means connecting cities. Say for example, you connect Freetown to Conakry. Conakry will be connected to Monrovia. Monrovia will be connected to Dakar. Dakar connected to Lagos, Abuja, etc., etc. So all of those ones are to enable us to bridge the digital divide with respect to connectivity. Connectivity is the key, and once that connectivity comes, we should connect businesses and connect people. Once you connect businesses and connect people, that will speed up digital economy. Digital economy is one of the vogue now. That means where we can use ICT to be able to drive processes in marketing, processes in goods and services, which is now what is happening all over the globe, and we will not want West Africa to be left behind.
Okay, sir. So from what we've already understood is the fact that developments in this day and age is keen on internet and telecommunications, as you've rightly mentioned.
Sure.
But we want to know, as Leon, what is the benefits that we will in turn get from this revised constitution, being that already Sierra Leone is struggling with the cost of data and all of that. So what benefit will Sierra Leoneans derive from this one?
The benefits will be enormous. Recall, we are looking at where we were before with respect to internet penetration and voice coverage, where we are now, and where we hope to be. Before now, in 4 or 5 years ago, we are like, say for example, just 57% of Sierra Leone was covered by voice call. Now we have more than 90% of Sierra Leone covered by voice call. 4 years or 4.5 years ago, we only had about 13% of Sierra Leone covered by the internet. As we are now, we have more than 31% covered by the internet. That one only happens because of capital investments which government itself have done. Government has spent about $73 million in rolling out fiber cables across the country. The service providers, private sector themselves, have spent so much money, and then we as the regulator at the regulatory authority, what we have to do is to create the enabling environment so that those services which are being provided are utilized by the people to enhance consumer satisfaction. The consumers too have to be protected when they are using the services. So the benefits of this conference will be how we'll be able to harmonize regulatory practices and procedure as it is in the West Africa sub-region. Recall, we now here are moving from a commission to an authority. In some other countries, they have what we call, for example, ARPT in Guinea, in Ivory Coast, in Senegal. That means they have Post and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority. In Ghana, for example, we have National Communications Authority. In Nigeria, we have National Communications Commission. So what this constitution is going to speak to is to see how, in all of those regulatory processes and procedures, how they will be harmonized so that we all speak with one voice to connect people in the West African sub-region.
Okay, well, thank you very much. This is TDN Africa Media, and we're with Mr. Abdul Ben Foday. Rounding up our interview, sir, would love to shed light into, I think you already answered a few, but we would love to know, with the current data prices, will there, as Sierra Leoneans, would we expect that the cost will in any form be favorable going forward? Because we are talking about uniformity, imagine all these data from all the other regions and all of that. But many Sierra Leoneans who live here, who don't experience that, who haven't gone to other countries, only know about Sierra Leonean situation. So with the present charges already lifted, would we expect that there will be...
Well, as it is, if I could get you very well, as it is, everything relating to data and voice tariffs are on the table. Recall, we had not reviewed these ones, say, for example, 5 years down the line. The last time it was drastically reviewed was in 2017. But even with this system where we are now, 3 years ago when we came in, we had voice tariff at 697 leones. That one was brought down to 650 leones, and it was harmonized so that the need for you to have 1, 2, 3, 4 phones will never arise. So once those tariffs were harmonized, so operator A can call operator B, customer A can call customer B on operator B with the same cost, that's the 650. But as we went on, we were able to bring a floor and a cap from 590 to 650. So what we have done now, after those protracted engagements with the service providers, is to see how we could make some changes relating to cost variables which they put to us. So what we did was to see how we could move from 650 to 950, for instance, by adding 300 leones in the old leones. And for data was like 10 leones or 10,000 leones per gigabyte. So what we've done now is to see how we can bring it up to 15,000 leones per gigabyte, or 15 new leones. Those costs are relatively comparable as it is in the sub-region, because what we do at, if you check www.statista.com, you'll be able to see comparative data prices in 233 countries in the world. You are able to give a price for 1 gigabyte of data. So Sierra Leone is not faring too badly. In fact, Sierra Leone is among one of the lowest in the world for 1 gig of data. Be that as it may, if looking at the foreign exchange rates, it will have been much higher than that. See, for example, 1 gig should have been, say, in the region of 26,000. But we as a regulator, since we have the consumers at heart, we could not take that one hook, line, and sinker from the operator. So what we did was say, well, we can bring it down to 15 leones, which we think will be a little affordable. And for voice, it should have been as far as the 1,900 or 2,000 leons. So we brought it down to between 950 and 1,100 leons. Recall, even when we are talking about affordability, accessibility, and availability, we have to consider sustainability, because the services have to be sustained. So if they bring one tower down, that tower that has been brought down because of providing fuel for generators will have effect on quality of service, and eventually will have effect on quality of experience, which you and I will get. And we want to have the best of experiences for the consumers. So be that as it may, everything relating to tweaking or revising or reviewing those tariffs are on the table as cost variables change. We have not taken anything off the table. We could review them downwards. We are not going to review them upwards at the time being. We could review them downwards based on cost variables. Once those cost variables change, we could change them. But suffice it to say, the costs relating to those ones are in a way not too far off the roof, like the operators had wanted us to look at it. And there are processes which we undertook to be able to come to those terms. We had several protracted engagements over time for us to come to those terms relating to that. We engaged the media, we engaged society organizations, we engaged critical stakeholders. Everybody was and is on board with respect to voice and data tariffs for sustainability in digital communications.
Okay, sir. Just to count it all up, as an experience, would say that despite we understand now that it's for efficiency and stability and all of that.
And predictability.
Yes, but the challenge as at hand right now is the fact that, yes, data is available, the charges have gone up, but in terms of...
not too far off the roof.
Not too far off the roof, like you rightly mentioned. But in terms of usage, we find out that drastically what should sustain you for days now happens to last only for probably within hours within the day, and these are challenges.
Yeah, sure. The bundles are still available. Say, for example, for the students' cap, there have been engagements with the service providers to see how they might create some bundles again for the students, so that the student population, cost-effective bundles for students of the millennials or the Generation Z.
Okay.
Apparently, like you asked, every other thing is on the table. There have been engagements and will continue to engage with the service providers to see how they will put together bundles for students, particularly, say for example, for millennials, those ones who are born in 1980s, for Generation Z, those ones who are born in 1992 and beyond, so that they will continue to hook up to the internet. But suffice it to say, we'll still have people who are buying, even in my place, I want to buy MB. So you can still buy 1,000 megabytes. There is 200 megabytes, 500 megabytes. Those prices have not changed at all. They are as they were. But everything we could do in this sector to enhance consumer experience, to ensure that what you pay for, you get value for money, will be done, and will be done for the good of Sierra Leone.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, sir. Going forward with the review, the conference with revising the Constitution
of WATRA.
Yes, sir. We'd love to know the date and time, and will that document be made available to the Sierra Leonean populace, or it's...
Yes, that document will be made available. Apparently, WATRA is here. They are here from the 13th yesterday. They'll be here until the 17th of February to review and validate the Constitution. Once that Constitution, the revised Constitution, has been validated, that means have become legally acceptable to all and sundry, then it will be adopted in the next meeting of WATRA, which will be held in Bamako, Mali.
Okay, well, thank you very much for speaking with us, Mr. Abdul and Foday. This is TDN Africa Media.
You're welcome.
My name is Joy Claudia Sawyer.